it's Emily Rose again, and I'm here to talk about my July wrap-up. And believe it or not, this is my July wrap-up, plus all of these. And I have read a lot this July. I have read 28 books this July. It's crazy the amount I have read. I literally think that I have read at least, well, I mean by the number, is a book a day, for sure. But also I think I've read a couple of books in like one day, and like here in this chunk here, these here, plus 2 more I did in 24 hours, which is going to be a video that I'm going to post next week, is my 24-hour Sarah Dessen readathon. But for now, we're going to talk about my July reads. I am not going to talk about every single one of these books because that would be absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to wrap up 3 of my least favorites and 5 of my most favorite books that I've read this month. I'm going to tell you the tally of what my star ratings are for the books, and I'm going to show you each of those books in the groupings. So, without further ado, let's get rolling because we've got a long video ahead of us. Yay! Alright, so, first things first, let's talk about the statistics of what I've read. I've read, put this in front of me because I don't have my glasses because the ring light causes a big blur on my face. I've read 3 5 stars. I've read 13 4 stars. It's been a month of 4 stars for sure. I've read 9 3 stars and 3 2 stars. So I can't believe how many 5 stars I've actually had this month and the enormous amount of 4 stars that I've read. I'm going to talk about all my 5 stars and a few 4-star books. Okay, so let's start with the 5-star books. Starting with my least favorite, so number 5 is Court of Thorns and Roses. It got 4 stars from me. This only reason it got 4 stars, I'm going to be honest with you, is because it was very slow in the beginning. It was super slow in the beginning. But after it, once it got to like here-ish, it, boy, picked up and it rolled. And let me tell you, what a ride. It is something. I was on the edge of my seat for a lot of it, but like I said, the only reason I gave it 4 stars and not 5 is because it's very slow in the beginning and it takes a little bit of time to get through it. So that's my number 5 slot for this month. 4 stars, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. My 4 slot is Ride Along by Sarah Dessen. It would rate lower on my star scale than A Court of Thorns and Roses, but for nostalgia's sake, it's up there above it. So number 4 is Ride Along by Sarah Dessen. And I did that a part of my readathon, and it was quite an experience, but let me tell you, what a book. Eli, what a boy. Just, it is probably one of my favorites, or my favorite Sarah Dessen book. I don't know what it is about it. There's like not any like super catchy factor about it. The bikes are kind of cool, but I mean, I just love it. I love it so much. So that got number 4. Number 3 for me was Girls of Paper and Fire. Oh, this book. I was on the edge of my seat the entire book. I don't think I breathed the full breath, like, during the entire story. It was insane. I loved it. And because I had such a just heart-wrenching reaction to it, I had to rate it up high up there. So it got 5 stars from me. Believe it or not. I will tell you there are trigger warnings for that book. So if you're gonna read it, there's some assault stuff and different things like that that you want to look out for. If you're uncomfortable with that, don't read this book. It is not for you. But if you're okay with those trigger warning things and you can handle it, man, give this book a read. It is something. I will tell you that. So, Girls of Paper and Fire is my number 3 slot. My number 2 slot is The House on in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. And I adored this book. It is darling, absolutely 100% darling. I think it was not a middle grade novel. So whoever says it's a middle grade novel, I've heard somewhere that people are calling it a middle grade novel. I don't think it's that. I think it's kind of a contemporary a little bit. Definitely fantasy, for sure. But I just think the messages that they bring forth in it and the way they handle those prejudice messages and the way they handle discrimination is just so unique, and it really, really reads so clear and concise, and it is hilarious. Let me tell you, if you want to read about a 6-year-old Lucifer, Antichrist, that, we don't use that word. We call him Lucy, and he is precious. And just all of the cast of characters, the family aspect, I loved The House in the Cerulean Sea. That's why I got my 2nd spot and I got 5 stars. Now my first one, one that touched me, that I still think about to this day, is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. And let me tell you what a beautiful book that is. The descriptive language they use, the fact that the chapters are like little vignettes, just really touched my soul. I think the story is beautiful, and I even picked up Salty Bittersweet, hoping that it would be, here it is. I picked up Salty Bittersweet, hoping that it would be somewhat like that. It didn't meet the standards of With the Fire on High. I don't think anything met the standards with The Fire on High for this month for me. I loved that book, and I look forward to reading Poet X and Clap When You Land by Acevedo as well, because I think she's just such a unique artist in the way she writes, and I really appreciate her. So that is my top 5. That's my top 5. Now let's talk about my bottom babes. Now we're going to talk about my bottom 3. So these are the bottom of the barrel for me this month. I think that there are probably going to be some unpopular opinion here. I've heard a lot of good things about these books, and unfortunately I just didn't share the love. So my first one is A Song Below Water is the very bottom for me. It's number 3. So I guess it's not the worst, but I did not like it. I've described in a past video why I didn't like it. I didn't like Song Below Water despite its gorgeous cover. I didn't like it because it didn't have enough fantasy. I didn't like it because I couldn't tell who was talking sometimes. I didn't like it because I thought it was slow. It was just droney, and then they didn't explain some of the fantasy stuff. Like, they described a certain monster that a person can be, and I didn't understand what it was the entirety of the thing, and all I wanted was the description of what it was. And I never got it. And so I did not like A Song Below Water, unfortunately, this month. My second one that I did not like is Head Over Heels. It was my book of the month, which is super disappointing when my book of the month is not up to par. But I did not like this book of the month this month. It was very wah, wah, wah. I did not like it. It dragged. The writing felt really pedestrian. The way it was written just felt elementary, and I just was expecting so much more from it, and I didn't get it. And so it got a 2 for me. All 3 of these are 2 stars, by the way. My last 2-star is Dumplin. This started out as a 3-star or 4-star, and then the more I thought about it and the more I read it, it just kept going lower and lower and lower on my chart. And let me tell you why. Willa Jean is one of the most annoying characters. She's self-deprecating. She's not a nice friend. Like, you want this book to be body positive, and a lot of it is not body positive. It's the opposite of her thinking down on herself. And yeah, her boyfriend is super good looking and all of that stuff and loves her for who she is, but she doesn't even love herself. And that's the hardest part of this book for me, is that I don't see her grow enough in it. I will talk about this book when I talk about my book to movies adaptation video coming up. So Dumplin, unfortunately, got really low for me this month. So those are my least favorite books that I read in July. We could break down the books now. These are my 3 5-star books, 4-star books, are my 3-star books, and these finally are the 3 2-star books. That is what I have read for this month. And I hope you enjoyed coming along on this wrap up with me and discovering my lovely reads and the 28 books that I have read this month. I was a machine, and I am proud of it. I probably will not be reading this much coming up in the future because my day job is starting back up. But I was fortunate to be able to read a lot of books during this summer when I was on break. So I am super excited to share these with you guys. I'm super pumped that you guys have sat through this whole video and that are keeping with me. Thank you for following. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And let me know what you guys have read this month in the comments down below. I really want to know what you've read, and if you've read any of my 28 books, let me know and we can discuss. All right, until next time, guys, see you later.